Have you ever wondered what is going on in your brain while you're learning, or how to be more successful at school? Come, let's take a closer look at the middle school brain and gain an understanding of executive function. To be successful in the classroom, there are many demands on your brain. You need to first initiate and start the learning task, to plan and organize, and to persevere when faced with challenges, all while inhibiting inappropriate behaviors, limiting distractions, and controlling your emotions. For your brain to complete these processes, it uses its executive function. Research has shown how critical the executive functions are in your everyday lives as students and allows you to manage the stresses of everyday life. The executive function processes that we are going to take a closer look at are goal setting, planning, and prioritizing, organization of learning materials as well as ideas and thoughts, working memory, which is a small amount of information that can be held in your brain to complete cognitive tasks at once, mental flexibility, which is the ability to see from different perspectives as well as shift between thoughts, self-monitoring, which is the capacity to observe and evaluate your behavior, and emotional regulation, the ability to effectively manage and respond to emotional expectations. Is your mind blown yet? According to the National Scientific Council on the Developing Child, executive function is similar to an air traffic controller who is able to coordinate the arrivals and departures of dozens of planes on multiple runways. As you are sitting in class, your brain needs to control a lot of stimuli. Your feelings, physical characteristics of your classroom, as well as your intellectual thoughts and content are all airplanes coming at you at once. Unfortunately, many middle school students are not able to handle all aspects of the classroom at once due to their underdeveloped brain, leaving some of you feeling like you are crashing. Executive function processes are primarily located in the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is located in the front of your brain and is the last to develop. It is not fully developed until your mid-20s. Understanding that your brain is still developing in areas of planning, inhibition, and emotional regulation points to the importance of listening to adults that care about you in regards to decision making. Your teachers may also introduce you with strategies to help support you in your learning due to your limited brain development. Good news is you are entering an age where your brain is going to experience exceptional growth in executive functioning processes. From the ages of 11 to 21, your memory capacity will increase, you will develop stronger reasoning and abstract thinking skills, have greater self-awareness and self-regulation, as well as organizational skills. This growth is vital to your success in school and beyond in the real world. Neuroscientists have worked diligently to find one-to-one mapping of the structure of the brain to key executive functions, but it has proven to be very difficult. The functions are interconnected, and each one is not assigned to a specific area of the brain. The prefrontal cortex is the main area of the brain activated as individuals intentionally manage and direct their attention, thoughts, actions, and emotions. The anterior cingulate cortex connects the cognitive prefrontal cortex to the emotional limbic system. There are 4 specific areas of the limbic system that I would like to highlight. Number 1, the basal ganglia. It is made up of 5 subcortical nuclei, which consist of the globus pallidus, caudate, putamen, substantia nigra, and the subthalamic nucleus. It primarily regulates motor control, but also has a crucial role in human reasoning and how a person handles the common demands on life. The basal ganglia are key elements in the control of reward-based learning, sequencing, and cognitive function. The second one is the anterior region of the hypothalamus, which is involved in the secretion of hormones to help regulate responses to stimuli. The third part of the limbic system I want to highlight is the amygdala. It plays an important role in emotion and behavior and is best known for its role in processing fear. And finally, the hippocampus. It is well known for its role in memory, but recent research has shown that the hippocampus also plays a role in the executive function, especially with working memory. Neuroscientists have taken the executive functioning processes and divided them into two categories. When emotions are involved, these tasks are described as hot, while tasks that involve more attention and thought are described as cool. Hot executive processes showed significant activation in the orbital frontal cortex. Hot executive functions include emotional regulation and self-monitoring. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is associated with cool executive functions. They are responsible for planning, working memory, organization, and mental flexibility. There are two other aspects of the brain that I would like to discuss further: regional gray matter volume and regional white matter volume. Gray matter is a major component of the central nervous system, consisting of neural cell bodies, dendrites and axons, glial cells, synapses, and capillaries. Gray matter is distinguished from white matter in that it contains numerous cell bodies and relatively few myelinated axons, while white matter contains relatively few cell bodies and is composed mainly of long myelinated axons, which connect the various parts of the brain. During adolescence, your regional gray matter volume decreases, while your regional white matter volume increases. Due to these changes, you'll experience growth in verbal working memory, goal-directed behavior, selective attention, cognitive flexibility, and strategic planning. Throughout your adolescence, you'll develop the ability to integrate these executive functions as well. Now that you have a basic understanding of the neuroscience behind executive functioning, let's take a closer look at how it impacts learning in a typical math class. Here is Joe, a middle school student. We're going to take an adventure through Joe's brain. As we do, I want you to pay special attention to what is happening in Joe's brain to complete the learning tasks, as well as recognize what support his teacher provides to help him overcome his underdeveloped prefrontal cortex. In today's lesson, Joe is given the following word problem to solve in math class. Joe is able to see the end goal, but is not sure of the steps to solve it. He starts getting frustrated. Joe's teacher reminds Joe to RUN. It is an acronym to remember how to tackle word problems. R. Reread the question. U. Underline key information. N. Name the type of problem it is. Once Joe is reminded of this strategy, he feels confident to answer the problem. Joe has read the question, underlined key information, and named the problem as a multiplicative problem. He decides he is going to use his whiteboard to draw the schema off the poster on the wall that represents this type of problem. Only there is a problem. Joe can't find his whiteboard. How can this be? His teacher has the class clean their desks and organize them every Friday. Where can it be? Oh, there it is. Joe draws the picture that represents his problem. He likes using pictures as it helps him visualize a problem and he doesn't have to figure out the equation in his head. Once he has the word problem completed, the teacher asks the class to find a partner to discuss their strategy for solving the problem. Joe pairs up with his good buddy, Jeff. Jeff did not use the same strategy as Joe, and Joe is confused by Jeff's method. Jeff explains each step to Joe. Understanding that you could answer the question more than one way shocked Joe, but he understood Jeff's solution. After their discussions with their partner, the teacher asks each student to write in their reflection journal about today's lesson. They need to answer one of the following questions before they leave the room. What did you find challenging in math class today? What new strategy did you learn? After today's lesson, do you have any questions? Joe reflects on today's lesson and heads to science class. One thing we didn't know about Joe prior to watching him in math class was Joe is an only child and lives with his mom. His mom has to work 2 jobs to pay for their rent and groceries, so he is frequently home alone. He often feels anxious when he thinks about his mom having to work so much, and finds that his worries can distract him from learning. During today's lesson, when he read the word problem, he began to feel worried. Fortunately, Joe has established a strategy with the help of his teacher to help him regulate his feelings. When he feels anxious, he stops, takes 3 breaths, and thinks calming thoughts. When he is calm, he remembers that his mom has always been able to pay the bills and to be there for him, and he knows that she loves him very much. As you can see, in one math class, there are many demands on Joe's brain, as well as there would be for you. To complete the learning task in today's lesson, did you focus on what Joe needed to do? First, he needed to set a goal to initiate the task and plan how to answer the question. Second, he had to organize his school supplies as well as his thoughts in order to solve the problem. Third, his working memory was juggling content within the question as well as strategies and prior knowledge to solve the problem. Fourth, his brain needed to be flexible to understand Jeff's solution. Fifth, to reflect on his learning, he needed to self-monitor and think about his thinking. And finally, sixth, Joe also needed to regulate his emotions so that his anxiety was not a distraction. Executive functioning is at work in all aspects of his learning. I also asked you to focus on what Joe's teacher does to help Joe handle all the demands on his brain. First, she uses the acronym RUN to help him plan and prioritize the steps required to complete the problem. She also has her students organize their desks weekly. There is a poster that matches the type of word problem to the schema that is required to answer the question. This reduces the cognitive load on our students' working memory. Fourth, the class discusses their strategies with a partner to promote mental flexibility. She also has the class reflect to promote self-monitoring. And finally, Joe's teacher helped Joe establish a routine to regulate his emotions. Joe's teacher was very influential in helping Joe deal with his limited executive functioning skills. Teachers often need to assist students as their prefrontal cortex continues to develop. But the teacher isn't the only one that can help you out. There are other things that you can do to help yourself. The first tip is a big word called metacognition. Metacognition is thinking about thinking. If you are aware of your abilities as a thinker and a learner, you can establish appropriate routines and supports. Think about your strengths, your weaknesses, what areas of learning you enjoy, what areas do you struggle with, and come up with a plan. As you think about your thinking, try to build strategies to help you with your executive functioning skills by reflecting on the following things. Set goals for yourself. Focus on time management. When learning new ideas, try to link it to something you already know or find a pattern or category that it belongs to. Help your working memory by practicing skills, using mnemonics, rhymes, and songs, or drawing pictures and using manipulatives. Discuss new strategies with others. Reflect on your learning throughout the day. For emotional regulation, make a plan to suit your needs. And if nothing else, ask for help. Thank you for taking the time to journey with me through Joe's brain. The goal of this presentation is for you to have a better understanding of executive function and its importance in academic success. Remember to think about your thinking and use some of these tips to develop strategies that use your strengths to support your weaknesses.